I'm Jim Check. You're watching KelownaNow. I'm here with Attila Molnar.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
A Hungarian, right?
Hungarian,
You just
yeah.
came here, and actually I have Hungarian roots as well. About a year now. Eh? Welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah.
And you've got a story too, right? You've got a story. You came here in an RV kind of thing. You traveled around, and then kind of got. Yeah. Why don't you start and just tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, actually, we had like a childhood dream to explore Canada and see the northern American continent as well with my family. And after COVID, as many other families were a bit fed up with sitting at home and decided to rent our house and then just hop in an RV and have a year off and then just travel. And that's how we ended up in Montreal. And then we explored the east coast of Canada. And then we came all the way across to the west coast.
You brought Santa Claus with you. I see. Go back to the picture.
We visited a lot of places, especially went up north, up to Alaska, and then going all the way down on the west coast. So we visited British Columbia and also the Yukon. So we really enjoyed exploring the different territories and provinces of Canada. But we just fell in love with the Okanagan and this middle
Hard
part.
not to fall in love with the Okanagan. My mom escaped in Revolution in, I think, 56, right? The Revolution. And then she ended up in France, and then they had brochures there. Yeah. And she picked Canada because it had igloos and RCMP on the brochure. She said, oh, I really like that, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you're going to the north, right? So there you go.
So. And we really enjoyed having people. Everyone was really, really positive. And we met a couple in Kelowna. From Kelowna in Mexico in a small campsite. They were spending the winter
Lots
there.
of people go there,
Yeah, and then we just spent a few weeks there in the same campground. We had good chats and became friends apparently. And then they were recommending a lot of good things about Kelowna and this region. So we ended up discussing with Vernon about a potential business that we wanted to launch. And then there was a visa program that time, which is for the province of British Columbia with selected business industries. Yeah. And
so you bring a business idea and it kind of fast tracks you kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have certain commitments that we made to invest a certain amount of money and to create jobs. And then the idea was related into this RV travel and all the sustainability that is going on. And as I wanted to make sure that our children can enjoy the same kind of leisure activities that we do without all the emissions and all the gas and the pollution. So we learned a lot about RV solar systems and batteries and inverters and how to keep an RV running without electricity and just generating electricity.
Well, just sleep in the dark is one way.
Yeah, that would be good as well. So that was the first area that we started to focus on. But then we also met a lot of exciting Canadian companies that are producing special solar panels or even electric boats and conversion kits for boating and for RVs. So we basically opened up this workshop in Vernon, which is focusing on electric leisure vehicles. And
nice. So you're converting gas internal combustion engine vehicles into
electric. Yeah, absolutely. We can do that as well. So right now we are busy with installing solar systems to RVs. So that means replacing the batteries, adding
solar that's putting panels. Like solar panels on the roof. I think I had them on. I think I had 2 panels on my RV. But you need more panels to actually make a significant impact, right? Yeah,
and we also recommend to people traveling to have a foldable
just like where you can actually set up an array.
You can set it up on a sun while you are parking in the shade, so that makes a big difference.
Put it on your awning too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now actually, because the awning is kind of a wasted space and you use it to create shades. So
because there is some flexible stuff though too.
Yeah, right? They are already coming to the market. They are quite expensive yet.
Yeah, I was at the CES just recently in Las Vegas, and I did see quite a bit of stuff in the solar kind of like RV kind of space, right? So a lot of solar with like the full rooftop for sure, and then also arrays that you can put out, and then battery banks, and because you need the battery too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just to keep sustainability in focus, we also help people to keep their RVs longer, so we can repair the roofs with a special material to give them another 10 years of lifetime, and you don't have to replace them. I noticed that some of these North American RVs are actually not that great quality build-wise, so they are using cheap materials and the interior degrades pretty fast. So if you can keep them running longer and
I think a lot of the RVs actually decay from the sun before they actually decay from wear, because a lot of people use them once or twice a year.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of wear and tear on them, but just the sun kind of like eats them away, right?
Yeah, and we have a special material that we can redo the roofs with that, and then it gives you another 10 years.
Yeah, because that's where most of the damage is taking place, is the beating onto the roof, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
The sun.
Yeah, and then if we go one step further, we are actually looking into pickup trucks and classic vehicles, classic cars as well, and convert them from gas motors into electric.
So like pulling the whole drivetrain out and putting...
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we are working on a Ford F-250, which you have a picture there, and then we already removed the engine and the whole drivetrain basically, and then we put batteries and an electric motor into that. And then
so are you putting the battery pack like in the undercarriage, kind of like like a most electric vehicle, the battery packs underneath?
Yeah, so it will help a lot with the weight distribution. It will be very stable, turning much faster than it was before, and also it will have a comparable battery size than a new electric truck, and the cost of this conversion is like 50% of a new electric truck. So it's also
not that bad.
Not that bad, and it makes sense for commercial fleets as well. So now we are looking into opportunities with larger fleets. We work with a company called Blue Force, who is working on a kit which is specifically designed for the Ford F-150s, so the most common trucks.
Very common.
And then it's a very easy swap to do what we can do within a couple of days. And then
I should connect you with Chase Barber. He used to be out of Merritt. He's doing logging trucks. He's converting logging trucks.
Them. We met,
you know them? Edison Motors.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
They are also very cool tech guys, and really enjoy what
one of the big benefits of his is as you're coming down a hill loaded, all that weight coming down a hill is all regen. So it just charges the battery, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the big benefit of that, because that weight coming down the hill.
Yeah, and then if we look into boating, there is also a lot of new technology coming, and many boaters are less aware of that, but there are already very powerful and long-lasting batteries for boats as well. So we have rebuilt a beautiful old mahogany boat from 1952.
That's the
one of the pictures. It was built originally in Saskatchewan, and there was Absolute Classics restoring it partly here in Kelowna, and then it was sitting in a barn for years, so it was in quite bad shape. And then we completely redid that. Now it looks really beautiful, and it has a very powerful big electric motor.
Maybe put that back up for a second there, Rommel.
And so actually you can even water ski behind that. It runs really
so
smooth.
that looks like the traditional kind of like Evinrude or whatever, like motor thing. And so that's kind of, and then the prop, obviously the same thing, just different guts inside, right?
Yeah, it's like an outboard motor, and the batteries are hidden under the seats.
That's what I was going to say. So the battery is somewhere else in there, right? So what's the time on that one? Like how many hours could you be out there?
If you go cruising speeds, slower speeds, and just enjoying with the family, then it lasts a full day, so you can charge it overnight and then use it the whole day. And if you go like that full speed, then it's still 2 or 3 hours at full speed.
It's kind of like a Tesla, right? If you want to drive, if you want to race it, obviously it's going to eat the battery, right? And if you want to drive normal, then you probably can drive it farther.
So, but the good thing is with electric motors and batteries that with a gas boat, if you go out and use up 50% of your fuel, then it's very hard to get back with half of the fuel, because it's very hard to cut back on consumption. With an electric battery and a motor, if you go out and you still have like 20% left, then you can still cover a lot of distance if you go slow. So when you slow down, then you can increase your range exponentially.
So if you just stay at that sweet spot of speed, right? So
exactly. So it's a very.
I drive an electric car, so I know that if you jackrabbit every start, obviously you're eating the battery a lot faster than if you just kind of like go in eco mode.
And then it's really nice, and it also elevates the whole leisure experience, be it a truck or a boat. It's really silent, and there is no noise and vibration, and it's more like sailing, but at faster speeds in a boat. And
one of the things about electric motor, that power is instantaneous, right? It's there, right?
Yeah, the torque is immediately there. This boat goes planing in 2 seconds without any hesitation.
Yeah. So I mean, I did see quite a few electric boats at the CES too. Like that, obviously that's coming in a big way, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's even more friendly just in leaking.
Absolutely,
and like a lot of
oil. Whenever you go into a marina, you see even a small drop of oil will create a big.
See the rainbows everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, and that's so sad to see that in these beautiful blue lakes and Zoo lakes here. So I really hope that we
Imagine
can
it, and we'll see
progress.
one day where you won't be able to put. I know everybody will get mad, but you might not be able to put. In some lakes, you can't. In some lakes, you can't put a motor on a lake right now.
Yeah,
Like
actually,
Vassal Lake is like that. You can't put any motor on.
yeah, and there is a great experience with that in Hungary actually, because Lake Balaton, which is about half of the size of the Okanagan Lake, so it's the biggest lake in Central Europe, has a ban on gas engines since the 70s. So it was always only sailboats on that lake, and now in the past 5-8 years, with all the electric development, there are more and more power boats as well, which are electric. And actually the water quality is really great, and then you can enjoy the boat without any pollution.
Right. So if people want to kind of like come and see your services, what is it that you offer people right now? Like RV is their main bread and butter kind of thing?
Yeah, well, RVs and boats and these truck and classic car conversions. So what we can also do is actually we can talk with any client and just pick the right pickup truck or classic car. Like the most common one is probably the Porsche 911, which is a great car to convert. But any other cars, I'm really a fan of these huge old American big Cadillacs and the big ones.
Yeah.
So you can
big chunks of steel.
Yeah, exactly. and with the old unreliable gas engines, it's much easier and better to run them in an after an electric conversion. Yeah. So what we can offer as a service that we pick the right type and car, and we can hunt the right donor car for you on the market. Buy that, convert it, and then you can have a new daily driver which is restored and completely electric.
So the thing about those older vehicles is they have a bigger engine bay, and so you know what I mean. They have like a lot more room to work, whereas you get a lot of the newer cars are pretty tight, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. So we can fit in all the electric components and do that, but we can also help with basic electric troubleshooting for boats. The boating season is coming up, so if you have a dead battery or some electrical issues in your boat, then we can help that. And we will be displaying the boats at the Kelowna Yacht Club at the boat show coming up at the end of April. There will be another boat show in Vernon as well. We will be obviously there displaying the boats and doing test runs, and you can try and see it yourself.
Yeah.
So
what's the typical cost for somebody to put a solar outfit on their RV so that they can kind of like sustainable solar system so they can generate enough electricity?
Yeah, that can start all around $2,500 and goes up to $5,000, even $8,000 if you have more batteries. It mainly depends on how many batteries you want to add and how long you want to run off-grid. And a typical conversion to electric is in the range of 30 to 50,000 Canadian dollars plus the car. So
the RV one though, will that allow you to kind of just basically be just reliant on those panels?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go off-grid, and you can use this energy from the sun to recharge the batteries fully. And with everyone, we always do a small discussion about the usage pattern and what kind of appliances you use in an RV, and we can make a calculation to make sure that if you have a fridge, a microwave, a coffee pot, and so on, and then we can add up all that and see that to make sure that the battery will run the whole day, and you won't be out of energy even if it's a bit cloudy or if it is a winter day.
Yeah, because the last time, I mean, we've had a trailer in the past and it had an onboard generator, and then in the morning time you'd be in the campground and everybody's generator would fire up, right? Like you could hear all the generators go, right? So
yeah, and that's kind of annoying, and the smell and the noise of all the gas generators, we can completely get rid of that with this.
Mine was quiet. Mine was quiet.
Yeah, it is always quiet, but if it's next to you and there are 15 other one running,
you can definitely hear, especially the big $500,000 motorhomes when they fire up their generators, because theirs is probably like 10 times the size of mine, right?
Yeah. So that can be improved vastly with these solar setups. And the long-term dream of us is to build a fully electric RV, which will even run on electricity.
So you actually drive it,
Yeah, and then that's coming up for the end of this year. Hopefully we will finish the first prototype.
How big would that battery have to be?
That will be at least like 250 or 300 kilowatts.
Yeah, I was going to say, because like a Tesla is like 50 kilowatt. There's some other smaller cars that are 50 kilowatt.
Yeah, the truck I'm driving is a Ford F-150 that has 130 kilowatt hours.
Well, that's a pretty big battery.
And that gives already like 400 kilometers.
So that's you've converted a pickup. Or is that pickup that's
no, that's a factory one, but we are converting this F-250 now, which is from the 90s.
You're driving like an F-150?
I'm driving a factory,
a Lightning?
Yeah, Lightning.
Oh, okay.
And it still gives you a good range, but with an RV, we want to make sure that we have at least 300 kilometers of range for a day. But actually, during our trip for 2 years, we were traveling all from Alaska to Mexico and Guatemala and back to Canada.
Wow, that was a big trip.
In these 2 years, we had like 5 days when we were driving more than 300 kilometers. So usually we did like 200, 250 a day maximum because we have small children and we don't want to sit the whole day in a car driving. So I think for those people who are less constrained on time and travel in a bit slower speeds, then a range of 300 kilometers would be just good enough.
Yeah, I did the trip from Kelowna to into California along the Oregon coastline and the Washington coastline, and then I had a 1-ton diesel dually, and then I'm pulling an RV with a garage in the back that had like dirt bikes in that.
Like and toy haulers.
Yeah, toy hauler, and then I would burn a tank of fuel a day, and we wouldn't go that far. We'd burn a tank of fuel a day. Pretty expensive, actually, right?
Yeah, well, with the gas engines, you also increase the consumption almost to the double when you are towing a big trailer, and that's the same with electric cars. But the trucks that Edison's are building is also complemented with a gas generator, which is kind of a hybrid solution. So we can look into those as well and see if we can build an RV which has some backup charging facility as well with a generator.
Interesting. So how do people find you? Website, obviously?
Yeah, we have a website, petawatts.ca, and we are always open for a discussion either on the phone or face-to-face at our workshop. We are kind of nuts about that, so we are always happy to...
You're the guy, right? You're the guy
answer the questions and even think together with someone if he has an idea to convert a classic car.
Do you do solar panels on people's solar solutions on people's homes too?
No, we are not working on that. We are working with off-grid cabins though, because we have we can create a small electric array for you with the batteries. And actually, we are also the dealers of a waterless toilet for off-grid cabins, which is also quite interesting. That thing is burning everything that goes in, so it runs either on propane or electricity, and we can even install those into boats or RVs which has propane tanks. But that is also making an off-grid cabin much more comfortable.
Yeah, I've got a pretty big array on my roof.
Okay.
And I power quite a few cars off. The whole family drives electric now.
Yeah.
So,
the good thing in British Columbia is that 98% of the electricity is coming from renewable sources. So
mine comes from the sun.
Yeah, that's 100%. So then you drive an electric car here in BC, then you can be very sure
the biggest energy source we know of, right? Right out of the sun.
Energy is coming from renewable sources.
Yeah, well, I think the sun might not be renewable, is it? Who knows?
Yeah, well, it's a long enough lifespan.
It's got a pretty big bulb in it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I think that we covered everything that we can do. We are really focusing on all these classic cars and even newer RVs and boats and just convert them into electric. So if you have any questions about that,
where can they find you in Vernon?
We are at Silver Star Road, just across Butcher Boys, the grocery store. There is a new development there with a lot of mild industrial and retail space.
Yeah, so you got a shop there.
And we have a shop there.
Yeah, I guess you're going to need a shop, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now it's full with 2 RVs and 2 boats at the moment. But
so when's the boat show here in Kelowna again?
That's at the end of April, the last weekend of April, 26th, 27th, I think.
Yeah, so you can come and meet you and then check out the boat.
We will be there. We will be doing test runs.
Yeah, go for a cruise. Yeah. Quiet too, right? That's the big thing about electric. It's super
really
quiet, kind of creepy quiet too, right? Sometimes, right?
Yeah, you hear the splashes of the water and the wind, and basically that's
But even the cars, they just kind of creep up on you, right?
Yeah, you have this noise when you are backing up.
There's a bit of a hum there when you're backing up, but not much
just to make sure people
forward,
notice
right?
it. Yeah.
So you're happy with your lighting as well?
Yeah, we really love that. It's also the short distances in the wintertime especially are killing the gas motor. So when you use a gas motor, turn it on in the morning and then just drive like 5-10 kilometers and switch it off again, that's probably the worst use case. And with an electric, this is no issues at all. Yeah. And it also heats up in the morning before you leave, so it's just right at the time when you need to leave. There is a warm car.
Yeah, I used to drive a 1-ton diesel, and in the wintertime I would command start it and then let it run for 10 minutes, and then my drive to work was about 15 minutes or whatever. And just when I got here, it would start blowing heat.
Yeah.
Whereas with an electric car,
That's the
you,
drawback.
30 seconds,
Yeah.
and you can get in there, you open the door, and it's heat's blowing in your face, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so there's
absolutely.
some advantages
Much
for
more
sure.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we do thank you for coming in.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. It's really fascinating view from the windows.
There you go, like a live shot there. And then if you want to see what Petawatts has to offer, there's obviously right here in Kelowna, he'll be at the boat show at the end of April. And then you can go to the website, you can find out information, and then you just go to Vernon. Who doesn't want to go to Vernon?
Exactly.
Right?
It's a beautiful small town. Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah, the whole Okanagan is a beautiful place. Look at our background. Like we live in paradise, right? My mom loved Budapest, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful city as well, but we still somehow decided.
I actually have the picture of Budapest hanging in my living room.
Okay, nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the river, the Danube.
Yeah, the Danube with all the bridges. It's a very scenic place.
Beautiful
as well.
city.
Yeah.
Absolutely spectacular.
Absolutely recommend to visit.
Yeah, I gotta go. All right. And we thank you for watching KelownaNow.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. KelownaNow, local, independent. News you can